All right. This is nice. Hey, Joe. How are you?
There's your keys.
Thank you very
for your
much.
Brand new Bolt.
It's gorgeous. So I've signed up for my ChargePoint app.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Like I've signed up for my Chevrolet app. So like I feel like I'm connected already.
You are.
And I'm not.
Talk to your car on a regular basis.
This is awesome. I'm going to drive it down and plug it in.
Yeah.
Because it's a battery electric vehicle.
Yeah.
So 259 mile range. So if you think about it, like I don't drive anywhere near 259 miles, certainly in a day.
Not a day.
Right? And probably not in a week. Right? So for most people, this car has got plenty of range.
sure. Yeah.
Right? So we pull this out. Right? And in it goes.
Simple
Right?
as that. There you go.
There we go.
And your charger.
And I'm charging.
Yeah, so the My Chevrolet app will actually aggregate ChargePoint and EVgo and any of the other
Oh, no
systems.
kidding.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see. So if you sign up with EVgo, you'll be able to pay right from your My Chevrolet app.
Yep.
You'll be able to see your charging.
So in other words, this is going to connect with the
Exactly.
car.
It aggregates the different.
So it's going to understand the status, the charging status of the
Understand
car
It'll
itself.
understand the charging status with this new updated app, and
Right.
will give you access to see 40,000 charging stations.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Once you have my link set up, you'll be sitting upstairs and it will send you an email that says your car is fully charged, ready to go.
Right, because we have an office where we have multiple EVs.
That's right.
So you want to be as efficient as you can with the charging space.
We need to get more actually built.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because that's the other thing that I've noticed is that, I'm seeing more and more public charging.
Yes.
And I've seen research where people feel much more like the technology is real and ready today when they see charging stations in their garage at work or where they shop.
That's absolutely
And
true.
So on this app, let's say I'm driving around and I feel like I need to charge. This app will tell me I need to charge and tell me where the nearest charging station is, and then it's connected to a payment system. So I can just take the phone and do this,
Yep.
and then it'll pay,
It'll pay through the systems,
Pay
like
through
an
the
EVgo
system.
or ChargePoint.
Right. So there's much more convenience. I think people think about this and say, well, where am I going to plug it in? And, am I going to have enough range? But what's really happening, which is really exciting, is, there's so much technology being brought to bear not only inside the vehicle, but outside the vehicle. Charging infrastructure, ways of connecting, charging infrastructure. So how long would it take me to get an adequate
So
charge?
you have bought the version that has this DC fast charging down here. And if you stop at a DC fast charge and you put in, you'll get about 100 miles in roughly 30 minutes.
Okay.
So this is the standard,
Yep.
what we would call all chargers, whether you're on a 110 or a 220,
Yep.
you'll have a plug that looks like this. Right? This is obviously just a 220 charger.
Yep.
So if you had a DC fast charger, it would have two prongs below here.
Yeah.
You
And
simply
then
would
you
pull
flap
this
that
down,
down.
and when you charge it in, it would go into the bottom
Right.
of that. That would give you, like I said, about 100 miles in 30 minutes.
And that's the other thing I think people have to recognize. This technology is adapting extremely rapidly, just like every other technology, right? The speed of my
Yep.
cellular network is much faster than it was, and so we can expect
Yes.
that the speed of charging is going to be faster than it is today, and that the capacity of batteries will be greater than they are today, right? So the overall sort of trend is faster charging,
Yep.
more capacity, longer range.
There will be a point, I think, in our next set, early in the next decade, that you'll have over 300 miles of range, ability to go another 180 miles within 10 minutes. So that's like 400 or 500 miles with one 10-minute stop.
Yeah.
You don't do that currently in a car.
And we haven't talked about the best thing about it yet, which is it's a blast to drive.
Oh, it's much more fun.
So let's drive it.
All right. All right, so this is a home, would be back, right? This gives you all these
Oh, interesting.
various.
Right.
So you can go deep in here and really get into how fast you've been driving, your
Yeah.
aggressiveness, what your energy usage is.
Yes, so which is interesting because, with an electric vehicle, how you drive the vehicle will have an impact on how much range you have, right?
Yes.
So you can look at your driving behavior and the car can kind of give you some hints about, hey, look, if you want to extend the range of your car, drive a little bit differently.
So if I want to go, right now we're on auto here. If you go in those sort of, so you could go in here and do some of your, again, this is where you can turn some things on and turn things off. But if you go in low power mode, it sort of turns the air conditioning down.
Yeah, sure.
It takes all the things down that drain
Right.
the battery.
That makes sense. So smooth and silent, right?
It's eerily quiet sometimes,
Yep.
right?
You know what I love about electric vehicles is you just have this great torque. You know, it just goes.
And they're going to get quicker. We're going to
that.
have some very large vehicles going 0 to 60 in like 3 to 4 seconds.
More models, bigger models, you know, an extended length Bolt, all sorts of different things. So it's a combination of things from that will help build customer awareness, right? One is, hey, look, they're making models that I need and want, right? Mid-size SUVs, for example. And then that combined with the visibility of public charging infrastructure. Wow, there's a charging station right there. These things are ready.
Right.
You know, the combination of those two things really helps drive awareness, right?
Getting EV charging station is a big priority for us in the next 5 years.
Right, but what I see is the industry working with other industry sectors, working with, you know, the utilities, working with, you know, other energy providers, working with tech companies that are looking to create pay platforms and other things. And I think that's where I think the industry is showing a fair amount of leadership from my perspective is bringing that conversation together, because it is bigger than one company or frankly one industry sector, right? And it does require us to be, you know, working with utilities to think about not only how we can establish more charging, but also how we can establish different value propositions for customers.
Yeah.
The proof of this technology is that you've got a ton of companies that are now either starting to get into the space, or companies that are startups that are coming into the space as startups. And so, you know, competition is, you know, I think also helps drive innovation. So you have a leadership position, which is great, and but you also drive other companies to compete, and I think that benefits customers because choice is good, and it benefits society because, you know, the more petroleum miles we can replace with electric miles, the better off we're going to be.
You know, we will have much larger, over 300-mile range vehicles within the next 2 to 3 years. These things will be no excuses. They're going to operate exactly like your internal combustion engine, right? You're going to have 330 miles of range, be able to continue down the road, you know, very, very easily.
So much fun. Oh man, that was awesome. All right, everybody has to drive this. So here's the big difference. The biggest difference that you sense immediately, I mean, first, quiet, right? There's no noise. There's no engine noise. There's no NVH. There's no kind of vibration, right? It's very quiet, feel of it. Second thing you notice is, you know, there's much greater torque, you know, immediate pickup because of how an electric motor works, right? So there's no lag. So those two things are immediately obvious. Then after that, what happens is it's normal. And it's kind of what you want, right? You forget you're in an electric vehicle and you're just driving, right? And you don't feel like there are any limitations or any compromises. And so I think, you know, really that's that combined with the fact that you've got a 250-mile range, you know, or even a little bit more than that, tells you these are really ready. This is fun to drive. So great, you know, great torque, a lot of fun, you know, in the city. I would imagine it'll be great on the highway. I can't wait to take it out. So.